Hello guys, it is Brittany here and welcome back to my Color Guard YouTube channel. If you're watching this video, I'm going to assume you want to learn more about this fabulous piece of equipment right here. If that is the case, keep watching because today we're going to learn another installment in our tossing basics for the rifle world. Specifically, we're going to learn how to do a double. So if you want to learn how to do that, let's go. Alright, so if you guys are interested in learning a double, first thing I will preface this whole video with is if you do not know how to do a single, don't try and do a double. My number one thing that I preach to my students is if you can't do the toss below it, you're just going to do the toss above it with worse technique because you don't know how to do the toss below it. So master your singles first as a prerequisite for this video, but if you've done that, let's learn how to do this double. First things first is you want to start at a left flat. Remember, we start palm up facing our gun, thumb pointing down my rifle towards my nose. Remember, we press our thumbs whenever we toss or spin or flourish, whatever. About a fist away from the bolt. If you guys have this little screw right here in your strap, you should be pretty close to it. I usually say try to have like your middle finger, pointer finger right next to it. Then I'm gonna have my right hand palm down to the ground, pinky all the way to the end of my gun, covering the butt. My arms are nice and boxed out so I have energy over my rifle and that I will control it and will not control me. Now we can get into the actual toss. So with a double, we're of course going to start off with a nice strong dip. So we're gonna squeeze, make sure my muscles are engaged all the way from the back, all the way to my fingertips. So we're gonna squeeze and lift. Now here it's super important that we pull apart on our rifle. A lot of people think you just pull one arm up and one arm down and that kind of gives you a dip, but that doesn't engage your back muscles. The key thing about doing a dip is you have to think about pulling your rifle apart. So this one pulling this way, this one pulling this way, because when I do that, I activate my back muscles and then I get that extra little tension from my body and it makes tossing so much easier. If you just toss with your arms and you don't have a lot of arm strength, it's going to be hard, but all of us have some kind of back strength, so it makes it a lot easier. So think about squeeze, pull apart. You really want to lock that dip, don't pass through it. That's the number one thing people tend to do on dips, is just pass through. This is what builds up your energy and this is the release. Okay, so if you kind of just bro through this, you're not going to have any energy to release. So here, 5, 6, 7, I usually tell my kids to squeeze on 7, dip on 8, and we're going to release on 1. Now with our single, I told you guys to release about here, about by your chest, because we don't really need a lot of energy for a single. A double, we need just a little bit more, so think about having your hand by your shoulder. Remember, we always do tips up, so if I kind of wrote a little note on my hand right here, you should be able to see what the note says underneath my toss because my fingers are nice and tall and my hand is straight. It's not tipped anyway, because then I'll send my rifle flying those directions. We don't want that. So now, let me show you guys what the double would look like when we put all of these steps together. Remember, a double is 2 rotations. The name always indicates how many rotations it has. So a single is, just 1. Now we're just gonna basically add a 1 on top of that, indicating, remember, if we have our gas pedal, which is our hand that pushes, this is our steering wheel. Our steering wheel needs to go just a little bit higher to tell my rifle to go a little higher. So now let's show you a double on the left. And 5 and 6 and 5, 6, 7, dip, 1 and 2 and. So if you guys heard me counting that, I always count my tosses and I always tell my kids to as well, because if you don't count your tosses, it's nearly impossible to tell where the heck it's gonna go, because sometimes, we're not perfect. We release too little, release too much, and so it's important to count because you'll know if you're, right on track, or if maybe you did just a little too much or a little too less. Kind of throw it over to the right side so we can learn that double real fast. So now that we're on the right side, I'm going to start a right flat, which would be my right hand over the nose, that's my left hand, left hand over the nose, palm down, right hand in the neck, palm up. Remember, press our thumbs, just like I talked about on the left side. This side we still have to pull apart on our dip, except now my left arm is the one that brings it up and my right arm is the one that stays down. Remember, we pull apart, not just straight up and down. This will be my gas pedal, pushing straight to my thigh. Remember, we want to stick it We're gonna leave it there until I need to catch. Stick it there and leave it. Then this will release at about shoulder height so I can get 2 rotations out of it on the right side. So I'll show you what that looks like right now. And 6, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 1 and 2 and catch. Showed you how to do a double on the left and a double on the right. One thing that I want to make very clear that I've said throughout the rest of my tossing videos is the second you guys dip and you're going into release, whatever hand is your push hand, whether it be your right hand or your left hand, the second that hand pushes straight down to your thigh, because remember we don't want to push out, we'll lose momentum that way, we push straight down to my thigh. You want to think about pretty much like there's super glue stuck to your thigh and it's going to stay there until the second you need to catch. If you go over like this into your catch, half the time we miss it. Okay, so you don't want to kind of be reaching up for it because then most of the time it just goes right by us. If we stay here at my thigh and I come underneath my rifle, even if it's, you know, too much or too little, I can still catch it on the half, but if I'm doing this, most of the time I'll never catch it. If I come from underneath, I'll at least catch a half, or I'll catch it weirdly, but I'll still catch something because I'm coming underneath my rifle to stop it. So no matter what mistake you make, you will catch it if you come underneath your rifle. If you go with it, most of the time it passes you by, and that's what causes most of our drops. So we don't want that. With all that, that will conclude our double video. I know that was a lot of talking, but one thing I want to reiterate, like I say in the rest of my videos, if you have questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them in the comment section down below. I love to read your guys' comments and help you out just a little bit more because you guys deserve all that color guard knowledge. And last thing is, if you guys have any suggestions for any videos I have not covered yet and you would love to see a tutorial on how to do that, whether it be a trick or another basic skill, I will gladly do that, so leave that in the comment section down below as well. With all that said, I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.